talking for? You thirsty?
For 15 years, Atlanta detectives David Quinn and Vince Velasquez are their stories.
We got ID?
It's the homeowner, Mr. Dennis McGuire, 58-year-old male. His wife found him. He's the one that called it in.
Wow. All right, we got anything else?
Yeah, there was a dog in the kennel in the backyard when we got here. We put him in the house.
Thanks, man. Let's work this crime scene.
Let's get to work.
We're gonna look for shell casings, blood, what's missing, what's there that shouldn't be there.
Oh, man. You got a bullet in the eye.
So my initial thoughts are that we're probably looking for a revolver.
There's a little plastic cup that's turned over and ice cubes in close proximity to that.
Oh, Vinny, check this out.
It's not incredibly cold in Atlanta. It's not below freezing. So these ice cubes are melting, which tells me the killer literally left, I would say, presumably within 40 minutes of us standing over this poor victim.
You got a very fresh homicide.
If we can get an evidence marker on that.
You seen that? What is that?
I also see a small little gold nugget pendant. This victim was killed. The perpetrator reached down and snatched this necklace off of him.
No necklace.
Check this out right here. See that indention? It used to be a wedding ring right there.
You could see from this victim's ring finger, he had worn a wedding ring. That ring is missing. It's not on his finger.
Maybe we just found our motive.
So our thoughts initially at that point when we see these things that are missing is that this is a robbery.
All right, let's chop it up. So we got our victim out here. He's obviously attached to this water hose right here. He's trying to make some water happen for his dog. We got the doggy bowl over here. We got this loose fence. Maybe our perpetrator comes through that fence, sees our victim in the backyard, they ring off. And as he's walking off, that chunk slips off, falls right there.
This doesn't feel random. So what if Mr. McGuire gets shot inside the house and he runs out and he dies right here?
Let's track it. Let's see where it goes.
We've got to find out what's going on the inside. That may be the onion you peel back that takes you where you need to go.
Kitchen looks normal.
Yeah. No signs of a conflict.
No.
We're looking for anything that catches our eye. Sometimes we don't know what we're looking for until we see it.
Nothing on the floor.
Mm-mm.
We're also in this house. Look.
McGuire and his wife, they look happy, man.
Yeah. Or maybe that's just for show.
We don't know what Dennis McGuire had going on at the time. Could this have been a jealous lover of his? Could this have been Mrs. McGuire? We have to consider all possibilities.
Yo, Vinny.
Oh.
Is it hers?
Let me see that.
We found two weapons in the house. One was a .38 revolver and one was a .22 caliber pistol.
The puppy loaded?
Fully loaded.
Now, the fact that it's fully loaded, that means nothing. I mean, someone could have interchanged and pulled out the spent shell casings. But right,
A .38 revolver in my hand. And I'm wondering, could this be the murder weapon?
I think it's about time we have that chat with Mrs. McGuire.
You right?
Right behind you.
we got to put her on the clock. We got to come up with a timeline to make sure she doesn't have any involvement.
We're very sorry about this, ma'am.
At the end of the day, there's a killer that we still need to find, and we don't know who it is. We don't know that it's not Mrs. McGuire at this point. So we have to proceed with caution.
When was the last time you spoke with your husband?
It was around 6. I left to go run some errands.
When she returns a little bit later, close in time to 8 o'clock,
Out back, I found Dennis on the ground. I had no idea he'd been shot.
my initial gut tells me Mrs. McGuire is true to form a grieving widow at this point. But we're detectives. That's not evidence.
Okay, so you said you ran an errand earlier.
Dennis was gonna be in a wedding. I went to go pick up his tux.
Now, do you still have that receipt? Can we see that?
I'll take a look, ma'am. 7:30. Timestamp. Thank you, ma'am.
This is the worst thing this ever.
Anyone that would have done this to Dennis.
No. Dennis was a wonderful man.
They had been married 10 years. They had a happy marriage. There was no problems.
So it appears the killer stole some of your husband's jewelry.
I noticed he was missing his necklace and his wedding band, and he never went without either of those.
Is this the missing jewelry here?
Yes.
So this photo is going to be very helpful.
Could use this in the media.
She gave us this great picture of her husband depicting the jewelry that's missing.
I saw Bill earlier,
Bill?
around 6.
She injects Bill into the timeline. That's another person, another piece of evidence potentially. As she's leaving for her errands,
Sorry, I didn't mean to frighten you.
she sees this guy named Bill from the neighborhood that's a handyman.
We owed him some money.
She owed him about $100 for some handiwork he had done. It's a very pleasant conversation she had with Bill.
I don't have any cash right now, but I can go get it. I'm on my way out. I should be back in, say, an hour.
Okay, no problem.
Saw her husband or Bill.
What's Bill's last name?
Davis.
Bill Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. McGuire said no ill feeling towards Bill, didn't say anything that made us suspicious of Bill.
Where's Bill live?
Down the street.
The investigation will turn into a twisted game of cat and mouse. Is you deaf?
This is the type of murder that makes you look twice at people.
Meet Mr. Alfred Glass.
We turn the neighborhood upside down searching for a killer.
Yeah, dreads, kinda young.
Any one of these neighbors could be our suspect.
Now, in the homicide business, that there is what we call a signature.
Now the body count is rising.
Look familiar, right?
Could we be hunting a serial killer?
Got a bullet in the eye.
Looks like this is our second gunshot wound.
We're investigating the murder of 58-year-old Dennis McGuire, found shot to death in the backyard of his home in southwest Atlanta.
No necklace.
Check this out right here. See that indention?
Missing is that this is a robbery.
What's Bill's last name?
Davis.
During an interview with Dennis's wife, we learn a 65-year-old handyman named Bill Davis came by the home not long before the murder.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to frighten you.
He may know something, have seen something that he has no clue that could contribute to finding out who did this.
We're gonna get to work.
He could be a witness or a suspect. Bill, the handyman, lives less than 100 yards from the McGuire residence, so we show up his house the next day about 1 p.m. Mr. Davis agreed.
What happened?
He's been given as a witness on our crime scene, but we want to talk to him and just get a reaction out of him.
How you doing, man?
How can I help you guys?
He lives in the house with an elderly woman named Nellie Sims. He's lived here for many years, 20 plus years, with Mrs. Sims, and he's just a staple in the neighborhood.
So we understand you spoke with Mr. McGuire last night.
Yep, I stopped by to pick up some money.
You should go up to the house and see Dennis.
I went down and spoke with Dennis.
What'd you talk about?
Lottery tickets.
Bill Davis asked Mr. McGuire.
Man, work was work.
You want me to play any numbers for you?
Man, didn't I just tell you I had a long day?
Based off what Bill told us, Mr. McGuire wasn't in a really good mood, so he just decided to leave.
He didn't want to play. No big deal. So I left, and that was the last time that I saw him.
And you left and you went to go play?
Yep.
Do you still have those tickets?
Yeah. Hold on, I'll be right back.
Appreciate it, brother. Sister, around what time did he get home that night?
Well, he was here. It was about 7.
It was unclear on the time, and that's understandably based on her age.
Sorry, guys, but I can't find him.
That's okay. What time did you get home last night?
Around about 7, I guess.
We don't have any big red flags on Bill Davis at this point. We need to chase the facts and the evidence in another direction.
Thank you for taking the time for us, okay?
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right.
Without any obvious suspects right off the rip, we circled back to Dennis's wife. We needed to completely rule her in or rule her out. This couple had been married 10 years, but it wasn't her first marriage. So we started looking at the possibility of action.
Another thing we wanted to look into was money. So we wanted to follow up with the life insurance companies to see if Mrs. McGuire was going to receive a large settlement for her husband's death.
Over the next few days, we dig into the life insurance angle.
All right, so McGuire, the life insurance, right? So he got the life insurance over 10 years ago. There's been no activity on the account whatsoever. Nada.
The wife is checking out fine. We don't see anything. Now we gotta circle back to square one, which was the missing jewelry. That's where our energy goes now.
We hear anything about the jewelry?
Nothing came back from the pawn shop search. See, I sent it to your girl.
Hopefully somebody saw this news piece, knows what we're looking for, has information, is gonna put it in our hands.
I'm gonna check the recent burglary and robbery reports. I'm gonna go fish.
Velasquez.
We get a call from a detective who says, hey, I got a guy that walked in here who saw the news piece and has a necklace in his hand and thinks this is the necklace that you guys are looking for.
All right, tell him we're on the way.
We need to find out who this guy is and who he bought the necklace from. That person could potentially be our murderer.
Let's roll.
What's going on, man? All right, tell us what happened.
I was at Greenbrier and his brother approached me, asked me if I wanted to buy this necklace.
He said he bought it at Greenbrier Mall, which is a mall that's very close to where our crime scene is. This is all adding up.
I figured it was stolen, but I don't want to be mixed up in no murder.
To me, it looks like the necklace.
What do you think?
This looks like the one in the photo, man. Is this the missing jewelry, man?
Yes.
All right, tell us about this brother that you purchased this from, man.
Well, he had dreads, kind of young.
This guy right now is our own
The mugshots at some point. Cool?
Okay.
And we're gonna have to keep this. You cool? Appreciate it.
We'll be in touch. Thanks.
This is a huge piece of evidence. We just gotta make sure it is the evidence in question. And the only one that can tell us that is Miss McGuire herself.
Let's bag this.
You ready to go show Evelyn?
That's right. That's right. We may have recovered your husband's stolen necklace.
Here we are, Evelyn. Okay.
She looks at it, what I was expecting her to say, like when we show lineups, like when somebody says, that's him, that's it.
100% sure?
Yes. In fact, I found his ring. I must have overlooked it.
Mr. McGuire took that ring off that day, put it on his other hand, for whatever reason, as was given back to Mrs. McGuire after the autopsy.
It appears the only piece of jewelry that's missing is the necklace.
So I don't think robbery's our motive anymore, man.
The real robber, they would have taken a wallet, his watch, they would have went through his pockets.
Thank you, Evelyn. This is still helpful, okay?
The investigation is about to take us down a strange path.
This gentleman was shot in the eye and the chest.
Leading to an unlikely suspect.
We have a warrant. That's why we're here today.
These are too many coincidences to ignore.
I'm blown away.
What do you think?
This looks like the one in the photo, man.
We're chasing lead after lead in the unsolved murder of 58-year-old Dennis McGuire. This necklace is the best hope we have in solving this case.
We may have recovered your husband's stolen necklace.
Her reaction is nothing welcoming. It's like, I've never seen this piece of jewelry before.
This isn't Dennis's necklace.
This was our biggest nugget, our biggest piece of evidence.
To solve the case, we decided to try a new strategy.
Got Quinn.
Historically, what we've done is we've gone back and looked at similar crimes.
Thank you, sister. So that was the medical examiner's office. All right, so they pulled 2 slugs out of McGuire's body, both 38s.
That's good to know.
That's what we knew from the beginning because we had no shell casings there. But this confirms it's a .38 caliber revolver. Maybe there's some other crimes in the area that we need to be looking at.
Yo, check this out. Meet Mr. Alfred Glass.
Who's his brother?
Was a neighbor of Dennis McGuire.
In 1998, a man named Alfred Glass was murdered in his driveway, 100 yards away from Dennis McGuire's home.
Check it out.
We're thumbing through the case file like it's the Bible. We're trying to find the answers.
This gentleman was shot in the eye and the chest.
He's shot in the face and the chest, just like our victim. I'm blown away.
Killers, when they commit a crime and they do it the same way every time, that's called a killing signature. That tells us right there that these cases may be connected.
You remember Winston?
He had a first and last name of a person he was interested in, responsible for the murder of Alfred Glass.
What?
And the craziest part of who this person is, we just interviewed this guy for our case.
Bill Davis. Lived across the street from him.
This joker's been under our nose the whole time. I can't believe it.
We had him marked down as an ally for us. Now, with this new information, Bill Davis goes to the top of the suspect list.
We gotta take a deep dive on Bill Davis and look at his history and find out everything we need to know about him.
In 1986, Bill Davis killed a man in the house where he lives right now.
So the man he killed is named Kenneth Ellis. Was in his 20s. Whoa.
We find out the victim in that case was none other than the adopted son of his live-in roommate, Miss Nellie Sims.
They were all living together. They had a fight.
Bill Davis thought that Kenneth Ellis had stolen something from his room, confronted him, and shot him.
Years. He did 6 years.
When he gets out of prison, moves back into the house with Nellie Sims, the adoptive mother of the man that he killed.
And he moves back in with Nellie? That's crazy.
Incredible. Call it love, call it infatuation, who knows? But Nellie Sims had a connection to Bill Davis like none other.
Yo, check out these photos for a second. Tell me if you don't see a pattern here. Chest wound, bullet in the eye. Bingo.
Kenneth Ellis is shot in the face and in the chest. The same way Alfred Glass was shot and the same way in 1986.
I'm thinking the coincidences are over. Bill Davis, the needle to the compass we're working with, is pointing to him.
You guys have a good day.
Yeah, you as well.
In light of Bill's killer past, we returned to his home armed with a search warrant.
APD. How you doing, ma'am?
Is Bill home?
No, he's not here.
Well, we have a warrant to search the property.
So we get to the house, we're being
in the driveway. Thank you.
As we're talking to Nellie, we hear a car pull up in the driveway, and it's a loud-ass muffler.
We got company.
Mm-hmm. What the hell's going on?
First of all, let's slow your roll. Secondly, we got a warrant. That's why we're here today.
We're looking for evidence related to this murder, presumably a handgun. What better way to look for a gun is in using a ballistic dog? There's gunpowder anywhere. Moki's gonna find that.
I don't understand. Didn't I tell y'all? I don't know nothing about no murder.
And we heard you. Loud and clear, but brother, we got a job to do.
We found something.
He's letting us know his dog...
Moki, the dog, has found our murder weapon.
Stay right there, Bill. Let's roll.
You guys have a good day.
We got a warrant. That's why we're here today.
While serving a search warrant at Davis's home, we bring a K-9 unit.
Didn't I tell y'all? I don't know nothing about this in the center console.
Could this be our murder weapon right here in our labs?
Just gloves.
Turns out the dog is hitting off 5 different gloves inside the center console of Nellie's car.
No gun.
No gun.
So Vin takes all the gloves out, lays them on the ground, just to make sure we get this thing right. And the dog hits on every glove separately.
Either these gloves were worn when a gun was fired, or the gun itself was in that center console with the gloves.
I guess his old Bill used these during the shooting. Or maybe they put the gun in there right after.
Maybe, but this is her car.
This is her car. So we still need the 38.
This property.
Let's go find it.
We're not going home. No time soon.
We scoured Davis's home for hours, but don't uncover any guns. Although we didn't find the murder weapon, we found ammunition that is the same caliber, 38, as used in the murder of Dennis McGuire, and that was used in the murder of Alfred Glass.
All right, Bill.
Am I under arrest?
Not today.
You know, we're really feeling strong that Bill is our guy. But the problem is, me and Vin don't have a smoking gun.
We need to find this murder weapon or find a witness that could put Bill Davis at the scene of our crime.
Bullets are butter, but find that at any crib.
We need more.
For sure.
So at this point in our case, we're in a holding pattern.
In the meantime, we're catching other cases, doing a thing, and working murder.
Then, out of the blue, 10 months after Mr. McGuire was killed, we get word that another homicide occurred right around the corner. We're thinking, here we go again.
We show up to this homicide scene once again. Just like Glass, just like McGuire, and just like Kenneth Ellis in 1986.
Look familiar, right?
Mm-hmm. What's going on, Jimmy?
Fellas.
Talk to us, man. What you got?
His name is Warren Williams. Most likely shot with a .38 revolver.
38.
Where does he live?
Right down the street.
He lives in the neighborhood where McGuire, Glass, and all the other victims live. We've never seen anything like this. This is almost like Catch Me If You Can. I don't care if you're looking at me. I'm gonna keep killing.
Why so interested?
We think it could be related to one of the cases that we're working. Davis?
Jerry White.
Jerry White was a Vietnam veteran, and according to other people that this detective interviewed, he hears voices that tell him to kill people.
And he was the last person seen with my victim.
Looking at the wrong neighbor this whole time, man?
And you feel real good about Jerry?
For my case, yeah.
If he's at the top of his list for Warren Williams' murder, that means he's got to be at the top of the list for our McGuire murder.
Why don't I set you guys up with Warren's cousin? She pointed me to Jerry.
Thanks, man.
It's not Bill Davis. Where are we? Are we back to square one?
Awesome. Appreciate it, man. We'll be in touch.
All right, thanks, sir.
Warren's cousin.
What's good, man?
I just ran into Reggie from ballistics, right? So he ran the bullets from both the Warren and the McGuire murders, perfect match.
What, both 38s?
Yes, sir.
Warren Williams was not only shot with a .38 caliber revolver, but it's the exact same weapon used to kill McGuire. Out of nowhere, my phone rings.
Velasquez.
From a frantic woman who is one of the neighbors in the neighborhood.
You're working on the McGuire case, right? I have something you need to see.
All right, ma'am, I need you to calm down for a second. Take a breath.
The McGuire case is just taking a crazy turn.
Velasquez.
You're working on the McGuire case, right?
The Dennis McGuire murder case feels like it's about to break wide open.
Now, how can I help you?
I have evidence in your murder case.
What is it?
A gun.
We know we got 2 murders with the same gun used, and then we get a call from this lady that says she may have information about a gun.
What's your name?
Marsha White. I'm Jerry White's mother.
She drops. Jerry White was recently ID'd as a prime suspect in the murder of Warren Williams and Dennis McGuire.
All right, ma'am, we're on the way. You ready?
So we jet over this woman's house. As soon as we get there, she directs us to her backyard where there's a hole in the ground.
It's right over there.
I see the barrel of a silver handgun wrapped in tin foil.
We're thinking this has to be the murder weapon.
What's up with that foil?
No clue. How'd you find this?
I was doing yard work and I stumbled upon it.
She was clearing out some debris with a shovel, and she don't bury guns unless you're trying to hide something. And why would you want to hide a gun unless it's a murder weapon?
Hey, yo, Jimmy. Yo, guess where we're at, man?
I don't know, but I got some bad news. I just did some follow-up interviews, and Jerry White is accounted for on the day of your murder.
What?
Jerry White was absolutely alibied out, without a doubt. There's absolutely no way Jerry White could have killed Dennis McGuire.
Yeah, sorry.
All right, appreciate it.
I don't even know what to say.
This thing has got to be the most confusing case at this point that Quinn and I have ever had.
Right here.
Vince notices there's a defect in the fence.
Check this out.
He sees nobody other than Bill Davis on the other side of that property line.
What's up, Bill?
And I'm just perplexed at this point. Quinn looks at me and goes, what in the world is going on here?
Yo, Bill planted this.
No doubt.
Right now, we really feel like Bill is our guy, but, we got to be able to prove this.
All right, let's find a way to bring this home.
Bill Davis.
This lab has extensive experience in testing weapons that have been exposed to the elements.
Now that our focus is back on Bill Davis, we meet with Warren Williams' cousin. We're hoping she may be able to connect some dots in these cases.
She told us she didn't know Bill, but Warren did. In fact, the day before the murder, Warren mentioned something about not wanting to hang out with Bill anymore. Then, on the night of the murder, some strange guy showed up at her house looking for Warren. She didn't get a good look at him because he had his hat pulled down over his face, but she said when he left, his car had a loud muffler.
And that's when the light bulb went off. I remember when we were searching Bill's home and he came back, he had a loud...
Davis. But to close this case, we had to think outside the box. It takes a year, but we finally put together a crazy plan that involves using an undercover FBI agent.
Gentlemen, Special Agent Sims.
Nice to meet you.
Quinn.
She had a lot of experience working undercover cases.
Tell me about the perp.
So that's the file. His name's Bill Davis, black male, late 50s. He's looking good for at least 2 murders that happened inside his neighborhood.
By this time in my career, I've had a little experience in getting into the mindset of serial killers.
Total narcissist.
Agent. Selling a home.
The plan was to move Mrs. McGuire out of her house as if the stress of this homicide of her husband was so severe that she had to sell her house and move out of state.
I'm sure he's gonna approach you about doing some handyman work.
Definitely.
The whole idea was to get Bill Davis to trust this woman and then have him confess in confidence.
So you'll be wired up the whole time and we'll be listening in right outside.
As soon as he says something, we got him.
All right, let's do it.
Let's work.
Here we go.
The FBI agent is wired up with this concealed audio.
Let's hope this works.
We're close by, and we have an ops plan. And sure enough, true to form to Bill Davis's character, within a couple hours of her putting the sign in the yard, here comes Bill Davis trotting up the driveway, offering his services as the handyman.
Hi, I'm Bill.
Hi, Susie Johnson, PT Realty.
They start to talk about things in the neighborhood, and Bill Davis is understanding that this was a homicide that occurred here.
Gosh, isn't it just awful what happened? Please think you did it.
We're on pins and needles because we really, really need this confession.
Yo, is he about to confess?
Let's hope this works.
We created the stage and the play, and Bill Davis is the central character.
Hi, I'm Bill.
We essentially brought Bill Davis back to the crime scene, and we wanted him to experience that feeling of when he killed McGuire.
I'm actually a suspect.
And have a confidant there that he trusted, and the hopes was that he would confess.
Really? Susie Johnson, PT Realty.
Showtime.
We're working with an undercover FBI agent posing as a realtor, hoping she can help us arrest Bill Davis for the murder of Dennis McGuire.
We've hatched together this Hail Mary stunt to try to bring this case in.
I'm actually a suspect.
Yo, is he about to confess?
The stress is high, and we're thinking, is this gonna work?
Why do you think police think you did it?
I have no earthly idea.
I'd like to,
Do some work for you if you need it.
Sure. Come by tomorrow.
Awesome. Remember, Vinny, it's a marathon.
Bill starts doing work at the house, and we're listening in.
Everything seems to be going like clockwork until I get a call one day.
What you got?
Velasquez.
It's our undercover agent.
She calls me up frantically saying when Bill showed up to do work in the yard today, that she felt that Bill had a weapon concealed under his sweater.
All right, go in the house and lock the door. We're on the way. Let's roll.
Moments later, we arrive on scene.
As I'm pulling up to the McGuire residence, I see Bill Davis walking down the street.
Yo, Bill, so what you doing out here?
There's definitely a big bulge protruding from under Bill's sweater, and it looks like it's possibly a firearm.
And very nonchalantly, I pulled my jacket to the right so I could get my gun out quickly if I needed to.
What's in your sweater?
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Slow down, brother. Slow down, Bill. Let me get your hands up. Spread your legs from me, Bill.
And I reached over and I grabbed his sweater, and when I lifted up, I see a butcher knife that's probably 14 inches long, wrapped in tin foil.
Bill, what is this, man?
So aluminum foil has come to visit this investigation for a second time.
He also has a way of how he wants to wrap his weapons up in tin foil.
You never know if people trying to come after me.
Now, it's illegal to carry a knife that big, but I'm not trying to arrest Bill Davis on carrying a knife at this point.
We'll see you soon, Bill.
Yo, we gotta get this cat off the street, now. You understand, Vinny? Now, you see that? That's a problem.
Let's go.
At that point, we met with the FBI. Because Bill Davis may have a weapon on his person, they felt like it was time to shut
the lab in Philadelphia on the weapon. The report states that the Smith & Wesson that we pulled out of Jerry White's yard, right next to where Bill Davis lives, is the murder weapon. It's the weapon that killed Warren Williams, and it's the same weapon that killed Dennis McGuire.
We have a ton of circumstantial evidence. We've already met with the district attorney. We all agree it's not gonna get any better. This is the best we have. We need to take Bill Davis off the streets before he kills someone else, before he kills another one of his neighbors. Bill Davis is arrested for the murder of Dennis McGuire and Warren Williams. We believe he also killed Alfred Glass, but don't
finally tell us the truth. But once we get down to the station, Bill says he's not saying a word. Even without giving a statement, Davis's motives behind the murder seems clear.
Oh, yeah. Bill Davis is a convicted killer, Bill.
We already know, looking at Bill Davis's history, what sets Bill Davis off. It started with Nellie's adopted son, Kenneth Ellis.
He killed that boy because he thought he stole something from him.
Then we fast forward to 1998.
Check this out. What you got? Meet Mr. Alfred Glass.
Where he's got some issue with his neighbor across the street. Who knows what Bill Davis was feeling, but Alfred Glass ends up dead.
This visits Dennis McGuire.
How was work, bruh? Man, work was work.
It's been established that Bill Davis and Dennis McGuire had some kind of words that day when he went to go play the lottery tickets.
Man, didn't I just tell you I had a long day? Get the hell out of my crib, man.
He went possibly to get a weapon he didn't have on him at the time he got insulted. He returned and he exacted Bill Davis revenge. And he killed Dennis McGuire.
It appears the same thing happened with Warren. Single motive was anger and disrespect. That's Bill Davis's motive. You can't cross Bill Davis and live to tell the tale.
While awaiting trial, we get shocking news.
Bill Davis dies of natural causes. We never had our day in court, but we are confident that we had a serial killer in the form of Bill Davis. He had been terrorizing his neighborhood for over 20 years. And had we not put Bill Davis in jail when we did, there's no doubt that the list of homicide victims would have.
Are you sure this is the right place?
Yeah.
For 15 years, Atlanta detectives David Quinn and Vince Velasquez investigated and solved hundreds of the city's most brutal and baffling murders. These are their stories.
It's September 23rd, 2004, and we just found out we're taking over a double homicide from just 2 months earlier in July.
The lead detective, Rick Chapman, he took a job with the FBI. This brother had given up. Hey, we're amped for the challenge for any homicide investigation, but this was a different situation. We got a guy, one of our own, who put his heart and soul into the investigation and wasn't able to finish it. We feel like we got to finish it for him.
Oh, man. Yeah, I know Chapman was disappointed he couldn't solve this thing.
Let's dig in and run it through our lens.
Yes, sir. All right, so our victims were found in Zone 3 off of Milton Ave.
Police are called to an abandoned lumberyard in the Peoplestown section.
And you had a bunch of abandoned properties over there. Not just the lumberyard. The neighborhood it's a shudder of what it used to be. It's just a memory.
Yo, I remember this case. They called me to work the crime scene with Chapman.
It's like homicide fate, like we are destined to solve this case.
So a surveyor found these bodies when she was doing some work out there. If she wouldn't have been working there, who knows how long they would have been out there.
This could have been a situation where they laid out there and started the decomposition process, but the fact that that particular contractor went back there, that's our first stroke of luck on this case.
The engine's still running.
Driver's head. And the most glaring question that I had at that point is, why are these guys here?
Yeah, they couldn't have been here too long. In the middle of nowhere.
Obviously, there's something more to this than just a friendly meetup.
On the driver's side of the SUV, the rear passenger door was flung open.
The second victim is hanging out of the vehicle with a gunshot wound to the chest.
I could tell the window was shattered from the inside out. So my initial thought was that this victim was probably sitting in the rear passenger seat behind the driver, was shot, striking the window, causing that glass to fly out.
So I'm thinking the killer shoots the
back of the vehicle on the right side.
In our backseat victim, he's probably trying to escape. And he pop, gets gunned down.
Exactly.
Is there anything missing?
A cell phone, and the driver's pocket was turned inside out. So, robbery is what made the most sense.
This could have been a robbery. That's the motive we got to go with. That's the most obvious until we could find some more information out.
So the victim in the driver's seat is Ernest Wilson. And the victim on the ground is Colin Lamar Francis. Damn. Both 24 years old, man.
They were both identified on scene based off the information on their persons. They actually had ID.
To the glove box of this vehicle, and I realized that this vehicle was rented.
So they picked up the rental car in North Carolina on July 12th. It's one day before our murder.
That's our timeline.
We now have something to go backwards in time, put a timestamp on that, and move forward.
I'm feeling good. That means something. The clock started ticking somewhere in North Carolina, and they came down to Atlanta.
Did you have any other background information on these guys?
Let me see, because I only worked the crime scene.
The next step is to look at the investigation. How far did Chapman go in the 2 months that he had with this case?
So both these guys were shot with the same 9mm handgun.
Yo, these aren't even street dudes, man.
From Carolina, doing in Peoplestown.
That's the $1 million question, man.
We've looked into this case file, trying to understand everything from the crime scene photos to the witnesses, but you're not going to get everything a detective is working on the case on paper.
Yeah, we need to holler at Chapman, man.
Yeah, if he hasn't left for Quantico yet.
Only one way to find out.
We got to make contact with him somehow. FBI, Academy or not, we got to have a conversation.
Yo, Chapman. I'm hoping I got to you in time, man. You still in town? We caught your double homicide here. You got a minute to talk? That's cool. We'll meet you there. All right. Just in time, baby. You grabbed it?
That's right.
There he is. Soon to be FBI agent, man. What's up, baby?
How you doing, baby?
We need to get everything that he's got. Everything that he didn't write down, his thoughts, his feelings.
So I heard you guys inherited my double.
Yeah.
Yep.
As soon as I ran the scene, I caught a break.
All right, so walk us through the case.
All right, we'll start it with Vanessa.
Vanessa. Who's that?
Lamar's ex-girlfriend. Boy, when I tell you she came in for an interview so fast. Tell me about Lamar.
The most important person right now is this girl he's identified as Vanessa, who actually raised her hand and said, I have information. Vance was gone. They were like sidekicks or road dogs to each other.
And he had a gig in the financial district.
Lamar was actually living in Atlanta a few months before his death. He had an internship at a local brokerage firm.
When was the last time you spoke or saw Lamar?
July 12th. His friend Ernest came down here from North Carolina and we all hung out. They went to go meet some guy. That was the last time I heard from him.
Vanessa goes on to tell Chapman that she had a bad feeling about the guy they were going to meet.
All right, so why was this sister so concerned about him?
Well, she believed he...
That took over Atlanta.
Yo, if BMF is involved in this, sort of makes sense, man.
Yeah.
These guys are killers, and there's a string of bodies. To this day, there are open homicides still associated to the BMF that are still unsolved.
So did Vanessa happen to have a name?
Just first name, Corey.
As soon as I hear the name Corey, I'm thinking, that rings a bell for me. Something's up with that name. And then I get my own personal epiphany.
Corey. Why do we know a Corey?
Our connection to this case goes much deeper than we realize.
I got nothing to hide.
I can't believe it. I know this guy.
We got a weapon. The road crossed state lines.
We'll uncover a deadly plot.
That could be 15,000 reasons why Ernest is dead.
And a twist that blows our minds.
I never saw him again.
These college kids had some secrets after all.
Wait.
Let's dig in and run it through our lens.
Yes, sir.
We've just inherited the cold case double murder of college students Lamar Francis and Ernest Wilson, shot to death at an abandoned lumberyard in southeast Atlanta. Majors, one of them working at the Atlanta Financial Center with a brokerage firm. I mean, why are they dead? I mean, this is a big mystery.
So I heard you guys inherited my double.
Yes, sir.
The original detective tells us Lamar's ex-girlfriend Vanessa saw them on the night of the murder.
They went to go meet some guy. That was the last time I heard from them.
According to Vanessa, the two victims were headed out to meet a man named Corey.
Suddenly, I'm thrown for a loop.
Why do we know a Corey?
You know it. He was with me on the warrant.
Yeah, I helped Chapman execute a search warrant on this guy's spot.
This is the second time we've had an epiphany. Me working the crime scene the first time.
Corey Ellis. We found his number in one of the Vic's phone records.
He said, maybe I can actually get out there and find some evidence that'll help me bring this case forward, because I got nothing but this name Corey at this point.
This gives us the right to search anywhere in here.
We hit Ellis's apartment 30 minutes north of Atlanta in Dunwoody, Georgia. He's home with his girlfriend.
I got nothing to hide.
So then you don't mind if me and Detective Chapman ask you a few questions?
As I said, I got nothing to hide.
Yo, Vinny, we're in there 3 seconds, right?
Quinn?
What do you got?
Got a weapon.
Chapman over here is finding guns, pulling a fire alarm.
They find a hand.
That's for protection.
This is a little .25 automatic handgun. It's not going to take a ballistics report to tell us this isn't our gun.
That wasn't a murder weapon.
Nah, I'm still sick about it. Ellis, did you see Lamar and Ernest on the 12th of July?
I hung with them around 6 at Varsity Grill. We agreed to meet up later, but they never showed up.
All right, so tell us about the rest of your evening.
I was with my boy Isaac. You can ask him. We ran up to Lenox Mall.
What's Isaac's last name?
Cunningham?
He actually has the date and time, paid a cell phone bill out near Lenox Mall, which it takes us a long way from Peoplestown.
What's the cell number, Ellis?
44.
While we're talking, an expensive-looking watch catches my eye. It had a blue face and a diamond bezel.
That's a nice watch, man.
That's a Rolex.
Word. Rolex.
I'd never even seen a Rolex other than on television. I mean, it stuck out like lights all over it. And I just remember saying to Corey and his girlfriend that was there, okay, who's the baller up in here?
That was a gift from my girl.
Corey didn't present himself as actually having a job.
Completely.
Chapman was able to determine that Corey indeed paid his phone bill. So in all accounts at this point, it looks like Corey's alibied out.
We might need to hit the road this time.
These kids have somebody paying tuition. That means they got love out there somewhere, and we haven't touched base with that love. So now we got to reach out to friends. He know everything about you. Mr. Brookstone could be the kid in this case.
This may be what we're looking for. We have to figure out why his roommate would be driving so far to Atlanta. So we decided to take a road trip to Charlotte to have some FaceTime with Sam Brookstone.
We hop on a plane and quickly touch down in Charlotte. We make contact with Sam, and he agrees to speak with us. Sam is cool with it. He's like, come and meet me. We head over and see what he has to say.
What's going on, man? Vince Velasquez, my partner David Quinn. Nice to meet you.
What's going on, brother?
All right, so talk to us. You were close with Ernest?
Oh, yeah.
You never noticed anything strange going on with him?
Not that I know of.
Sam's information is adding up with everything we've heard thus far from the family members. These cats were in college, and they were thriving in college.
You should speak with Bunky.
Bunky?
Yeah.
Who is that?
She was Ernest's girl.
I look at Dave and I'm like, okay, this is good because this is another girlfriend.
So what's Bunky's last name?
Bunky's just a nickname. I don't know her real name.
I think he's trying to stay out of it while still cooperating, but we go with it. We'll figure this out. Maybe he'll give us some other little tidbit.
All right, Sam. When was the last time you spoke with Bunky?
The funeral.
The best part about this conversation with Sam, this is right after the funeral and she's full of emotion.
I can't believe he's gone.
Yeah. And she said something really strange that day.
We got something bigger than we could ever imagine. We're about to have a breakthrough in the case.
Please be careful.
I'm so sorry.
A motive for murder comes to light.
Can I ask you for a favor?
This is a jigsaw puzzle we live for.
Check this out. Ding, ding, ding.
I only nosed around Atlanta.
When Quinn and I started our careers in 2000 in Homicide, nobody was going out of town.
Would call local law enforcement to go knock on that door for them.
You were friends with Ernest, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna make that flight. Caught a lot of flack from the bosses over the years. We spent a lot of air miles closing cases, and this was gonna be no different. The trail in the unsolved murders of Lamar Francis and Ernest Wilson takes us. First and last name.
She said something really strange that day.
His death has to be connected to that money.
What?
When he left, he had 15 grand in cash.
She tells him that she was actually with Ernest as he counted out $15,000 for something he had to do in Atlanta. And she left it like that.
All right, so why would our boy Ernest be taking 15 large with him to Atlanta?
I don't know. And Bunky didn't say.
I can't help but think back to the crime scene. Could that $15,000 have been in that car? That could be 15,000 reasons why Ernest is dead.
How can we get in touch with her?
I can ask around and get her.
Talking about a college student thriving with $15,000 just to, have on hand. We know now he's a robbery victim for sure, and Francis was right there with him.
What's he using that money for is the question.
I don't know, but Bunky knows.
You ever want to get the real story? You talk to the girlfriend. We left the interview with the roommate feeling like we were close to getting some answers. We got the name Bunky now, and we got to figure out who she is and how to reach her.
As we're driving around Charlotte, Quinn's cell phone blows up. It's a female who says, "I'm Bunky. I just got off the phone with Sam."
We asked his sister, "Where are you?" Just to her crib, and we couldn't wait to hear what she had to say.
How you doing, miss?
This Bunky individual is a witness now, a critical witness to this case, because our motive might be wrapped up in them dollars. We get right down to business.
You know exactly why we're here. I need to know, why would your man leave town with 15 grand like that?
Drugs. He was dealing.
This is a whole new twist to this case. This doesn't fit with the profile of who we've been looking at as our victims.
See, now the money makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
He was ready to get out the game.
To do one big score before he got out.
All right, so let me guess. He asked Colin Lamar for help.
Yeah.
His boy, Colin, who was rooted and now like a fixture in Atlanta on that internship, he was gonna find this plug.
Lamar would set it up, and Ernest was the money. Lamar found a source, 15 grand for a kilo.
That's real cheap.
That is a bargain basement deal for a kilo of cocaine.
Lamar said he would double his money. It was supposed to be an easy plan.
She said this man was great. Graduate, we had a future plan. I mean, this was supposed to be quick. He was gonna rent a car, go to Atlanta, and be back within 24 hours.
He left early on the 12th, and I never saw him again.
So you didn't speak to him at all?
The last call was around 5:30 the evening on that same day.
She kept blowing his phone up. She got nothing but crickets. And she was concerned because she just felt the worst. And then she finally found out, and she didn't know who to go to.
I think we found our killer.
Flashing back to the crime scene, there was a shooter who was sitting in the back seat of that.
And to connect.
I swear I don't know.
You don't know. You didn't hear nothing. You didn't hear him talking to anybody.
I don't know.
Okay. Look, you know how to get in touch with me. Okay. If you have anything come up, reach out. If you have any questions, okay? All right, thank you, sister.
Thank you, miss.
Our next task is we've got to figure out who this supplier was that met with Colin and met with Ernest on that fateful night. We decide to pay a visit to Lamar's ex, Vanessa, who moved back to Charlotte after the murders.
I'm Detective Velasquez. This is my partner, David.
I'm back. So,
look, Vanessa, we already know about the drug deal. We just want to find out who sold him the kilo. That's it.
It was Corey.
We thought Corey was clear, but it appears he's back in the picture.
Colin Lamar asked me if I knew anyone who was selling, and I sort of did.
She explains that, without question, she knew more and didn't tell Chapman, and what she left out was she actually put these forces together.
I met Corey through his girlfriend.
That guy was hitting on you. He almost spit his drink. God, he was sitting there.
She was best girlfriends with Corey's girl. She's really good friends.
Can I ask you for a favor?
Okay.
Can Corey get drugs? Like a kilo?
Ivanka tells her, well, my boyfriend, he's connected, he's in the game, he supplies people all the time.
I'm so sorry. I was just trying to help.
She's admitting to participating in a crime. In some states, including Georgia, you could be charged with felony murder. But at this point, Vanessa realizes she's doing everything she needs to do to try to make this thing right.
So, what happened?
I don't know. I was truthful with Detective Chapman. They met up with Corey, but they never met for the actual deal.
That's fairly consistent with his statement.
That's matching up with what Corey told us early on in the investigation.
Is there any chance that they may have found a different supplier?
I don't know how.
Maybe they found a better deal, and they decided not to follow through with Corey later, and that's why they ended up at the lumber yard.
Am I on arrest?
No.
But you are a witness.
You might have to testify.
We'll be in touch, all right? Thank you.
Thanks, Vanessa. Let's keep following up on Corey. Yo, Corey's got to be involved in this, man.
Absolutely. That sucker's slithering through these cracks somewhere, somehow.
We got to remind ourselves that Corey, according to our sources, is part of the Black Mafia family, the BMF. He's still a bad guy. We can't just cross Corey off this list right now, 100%.
So we have phone records here for Corey, Lamar.
We need to examine those records and see how they interconnect. Exactly how many times, time of day, and where they were.
These cats are chit-chatting from the wee hours of the morning on the 12th. And then, boom, nothing.
There's zero communication
here.
As we continue looking at Ernest's phone records, not only do we see him communicating with Corey, but we also see him communicating with another person.
Look at this guy, he's a newcomer.
Ernest Wilson is actually on the phone with somebody whose name we've heard before in the file. That's crazy.
Ding, ding, ding.
The investigation is about to turn completely sideways.
Now we have 2 cases to solve. This is nuts.
Who sold him the kilo?
It was Corey.
During our trip to North Carolina, all signs point to Corey Ellis as the likely
Be a coincidence. Something's up.
I spotted something right here.
Back in Atlanta, we dig back through evidence.
We're looking at our victims' phone records, looking for timelines, looking for connections as they relate to Corey Ellis.
Look at this guy, it's a newcomer.
That's when we make a surprising discovery.
We stumble across another name that sticks out.
Ding, ding, ding. It's Corey's boy, Isaac Cunningham.
I got nothing to hide.
Corey tells Detective Chapman early on in this investigation, his rock-solid alibi is none other than Isaac Cunningham.
I was with my boy Isaac. You can ask him.
They were at Lenox Mall.
Talking to our Vicks.
Isaac Cunningham's supposed to be the alibi for our other suspect, Corey Ellis, but now here he is, directly connected to our victims.
So, these boys lied to us. These cats were tag teaming this situation.
Do we have Corey and Isaac's phone records on here?
Nah, I thought you have them.
I have a request here for T-Mobile to get the phone records, but there was never any follow-up.
Detective Chapman sent a request out early July 2004, but there's no records there. Absolutely gone.
Time to follow up.
And he says he sent those records to Atlanta Police Detective Monroe.
We were totally baffled because we know who Monroe is. He doesn't work homicide. He works sex crimes in the SVU unit. We can't understand why our phone records from a homicide were sent to a sex crimes detective.
We thought, is this some kind of crossover with our cases that we don't know about? We reached out to him and told him we need to meet up and discuss this thing right away.
Nothing so far, man.
What's going on, Monroe?
Gentlemen,
I see you.
There he is. All right, so talk to us, Monroe. Why were you looking into the Isaac Cunningham? Okay.
possible suspect in a rape.
He is investigating who is connected to Corey Ellis in our homicide.
When did this happen?
July 4th.
So not long before our murder.
All right, walk us through it.
Woman comes home to her apartment late at night.
As she's putting her key in her door in an apartment complex, she's bum rushed at the door by a man. They come in, and this man raped this woman.
How does Isaac Cunningham play into this situation?
He was her next door neighbor, used to hit on her all the time.
Cunningham was creepy to her. She had his phone number because he kept trying to holler at her. He wanted to go with her. He wanted to be her man.
What if me and Vinny take a look at it real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
I love timelines and I love phone records because you can really paint a picture.
Look who Isaac is calling nonstop leading up to the rape.
My jaw didn't just drop. It was on the carpet. This was crazy.
Who's that?
We got something bigger than we could ever imagine.
Oh,
wait a minute.
I can't believe it. Hold on, Monroe.
Gentlemen.
Our homicide investigation has led us to a detective in the sex crimes unit.
So talk to us, Monroe.
We've now got this guy, Isaac Cunningham, who's connected to this July 4th home invasion of the same year.
Mind if me and Vinny take a look at it then?
Yeah, of course.
While reviewing Cunningham's phone records, one number jumps off the page.
Look who Isaac is calling nonstop leading up to the rape.
Wow.
We see this name that won't leave us alone that jumps in and out of this case.
That's Corey Ellis, brother.
So we think Cunningham and Ellis are good for our murder. And probably your case too, bro.
These guys are partners in crime. They are always together, and now we know they have placed themselves either electronically or by telling us themselves together on the night of two different crimes. Could they be connected?
Yeah, but from the phone records, man, we're gonna need some more information if we're gonna time the composites here.
Although our victim couldn't positively identify the suspects as somebody she knew, she was able to sit down with a forensic artist and provide two sketches of these guys.
This is our first guy.
This doesn't look familiar.
No.
Here's our second guy.
Oh.
Yeah?
Are you serious?
It's Corey Ellis. It's nobody else. This is not just a drawing. This is amazing artwork.
This is a spitting image of Corey Ellis, man.
No, let's do something, bro. Let's do a 2-for-1 on this case. We'll link your case with our murder investigation.
We've got to take this case, throw this sex crime detective in the...
Number of the victim.
Done. I have it sent over to you.
Thanks a lot, man.
We'll be in touch, man.
Yeah.
We've got to go find this victim and see if she can confirm what we already believe and know.
The victim agrees to meet with us.
So, Tanya, as I did mention on the phone earlier, we do have some questions about your case.
Sister, do you know a guy named Corey Ellis?
Does it ring a bell?
She immediately says no. Never heard the name before, don't know who that is.
So I did bring some mug shots for you to take a look at. Tell me if you recognize anyone.
Corey Ellis.
Tanya, are you sure?
100%.
Okay.
Is there anything else you remember about him?
Although we know we have connections between the players in this, we want to know, is there any physical evidence that may connect her crime to our crime? Money, drugs, we don't know what she's going to say.
He stole from me my Rolex.
My ears were on fire. It was crazy.
You said a Rolex?
Yeah, it was diamond embezzled with a blue face.
Literally, like the hair in the back of my neck stood up because I remember when describing a watch that he saw when he searched Corey Ellis's house with Detective.
We're not in church. We got to take this to a court of law, so now we got to put the work together.
Thank you for your time, Tanya.
Thank you.
We'll see ourselves out.
We felt like we had enough evidence to arrest Ellis on the rape, but we wanted to find enough proof to put him in our murder.
We finally received the phone records and the cell tower information for Ellis. Now we can trace his location on the night of the homicide and check his alibi. And lo and behold, when we're looking at this, brother, it's not even lining up. When Ellis claimed to be meeting with her victims at the Varsity, this joker lied. His cell phone was actually pinging off the cell tower right next to the...
So we got a warrant and arrested Ellis on the rape. So now it's time to see if we can get a confession on both cases.
All right, brother, so you've been read your rights, right? You fully understand and you agree to speak with us.
That's right. This case is not what you think.
All right? Why don't you help us understand, man?
Corey Ellis begins to spin a tale.
So there's this chick who owes me money for weed.
How much weed? It was like 2 ounces. Street value, what is that? I don't work dope, so what is it? Almost 2 G's.
She didn't have no cash at the time. Okay, so I'm serious.
I need something to say that I'm gonna get my paper. Well, if you her and I got a Rolex and it's real.
So the Rolex, the one inside your crib, that was all just a part of this transaction.
Yeah, everything was consensual.
Gotcha.
He actually puts himself there at the time. It was a crazy, stupid-ass story, but he claimed responsibility for being a rapist.
She like it kind of, I ain't gonna say beat you or no type like that, but she like it kind of.
We believe Ellis's whole story is fiction, using it as a way to explain his actions. He knows it this but show you how I'm cooperating.
Well, I think we got what we need with this case, but we do want to talk to you about a different case.
We're hoping Ellis will keep talking when it comes to the murder.
Colin Lamar Francis and Ernest Wilson.
I'll run it back, but I already told y'all everything.
You said everything? We want to hear the truth this time, though.
I told you the truth. I was straight.
We want to hear from his mouth, and Corey Ellis is denying everything.
So then why do I have phone records here, your phone records, that tell a different story?
We show him. So for you to tell us you were at the...
Technology that's putting you at the lumberyard, brother man.
Corey had an old-ish look on his face. He looked like he had just stepped in it.
I want to start spitting out some facts. You know what I mean?
We had this case locked up so tight, we were ready to throw away the key.
Okay.
Okay, what?
I was there. But I didn't do it.
Come on, man.
But I know who did it.
Is this joker kidding me with this story right now?
I got out and TJ got in. I already told y'all everything.
So then why do I have phone records here that tell a different story?
The technology that I've learned to help solve
that places you at the lumberyard.
We don't want to use this just to put people in prison, but if you do dirt and we have that technology, you better believe we're going to use it.
You need to spit some facts right now.
We do want to discuss a different case with you. We want to hear the truth this time, though.
Corey Ellis is back in the hot seat for the murders of Lamar Francis and Ernest Wilson. First, he says he had nothing to do with it. When we finally confront him with phone records, he finally comes off of it and says, look, guys, I was there.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
But I didn't do it.
Come on, man.
But I know who did it.
We're about to hear what we call a self-serving story to keep themselves away from the heat of receiving a murder charge.
I don't know his real name, but he go by TJ.
TJ. Of course he does.
I don't even have to look at Quinn. I know he ain't buying TJ. I'm not buying TJ, but we let him have diarrhea of the mouth. Keep going. According to Ellis, he barely knew TJ, yet set up a major drug buy with Lamar and Ernest for him.
We met at the warehouse. I got into the back seat and I told him TJ was doing the deal. And then I got out and TJ got in.
Corey says not seconds after TJ, the rear driver's side passenger window get blown out.
After he started shooting, I ran. And I called a taxi, never saw TJ again.
We got to go ahead and play along because right now, what Corey doesn't understand, he just told us he's a killer. We know TJ doesn't exist. He's an apparition. There's no way this is all going to tie together.
Okay, well, me and Vinny here, we're gonna go do some detective and see if we can find this TJ guy, all right?
All we're really gonna do a cursory check for this TJ we know doesn't exist. We spoke to Corey's boy, Isaac Cunningham. We did a little bio search on him. It turns out Isaac was actually born and raised in Peoplestown, and his family still lives there. This makes sense because who else could lead this guy to this abandoned lumberyard that's totally off the map?
We scooped up Cunningham and confronted him and told him we knew he lied about being Corey's alibi. He immediately folded under the pressure and told us everything he knew.
Dude spilled his guts all over our table. He admits he actually told Corey about the spot for the drug deal, but he said he wasn't there. He said he didn't know about the murder until after Ellis called him and told him he killed Ernest's wife.
With Cunningham's confession and all the other statements and evidence, we felt like we knew what happened the night of the murder.
The way this whole thing played out, Ernest was already coming into town. He's got the money. His partner, Colin Francis, had already connected with the supplier, Corey Ellis.
Are you sure this is the right place?
Yeah, man.
They communicate, the phone records support all of that.
That looked kind of sketchy to me.
The out-of-the-way location was part of Ellis's master plan.
I told you, he'll be here any moment. He calls Isaac Cunningham. He says, I need a place to do it. Isaac Cunningham being... Ellis arrives to the meeting alone.
He arrived at the location, somehow let these two brothers know he was going to get in the back and explain the thing with the drug deal.
What's up?
What's good?
They felt safe with Corey Ellis because he's connected to their people.
Y'all got the money?
Yeah. You got the stuff?
It's in my car. Let me see the paper first.
Corey Ellis never, ever had any intention on producing any cocaine. His intention at that point was, I'm gonna get that fist to take his gun out.
Wait.
And place it to the back of Ernest's head and kill him instantly and turn the gun on Colin. And that's exactly what he did.
Ellis calls his boy Isaac and lets him know about the murders.
Meet me at Lennox.
This cold-blooded bastard then took the $15,000 and he went on a shopping spree at Lenox Mall. in Corey Ellis.
Ellis believed he'd just gotten away with murder. No witnesses. Dead men don't tell a story. But they do. That's why we're here. We're telling their story for them.
On December 23rd, 2004, Corey Ellis is charged with murdering Lamar Francis and Ernest Wilson. Cunningham makes a deal to avoid prosecution. Isaac Cunningham was a fact witness, testified at the trial, and was never charged.
Corey Ellis was sentenced to 2 consecutive life sentences for the murder of these poor kids.
Due to the rape.
I think back at this case.
Let's dig in and run it through our lens.
Yes, sir.
We just started getting our feet wet in cold cases.
So I heard you guys inherited my double.
Yeah.
Yep.
It felt great, getting that baton from one detective, and finishing the race.
Yeah, I helped Chapman execute a search warrant on this guy's spot.
And I think there's a reason all that happened. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the magic is. I don't know what the sauce is. There's an ingredient here that works for us.
You need to spit some facts right now.
And we were thankful to give these families closure